Well, good afternoon. You may be seated. I have so much power up here. Good morning, graduates, honored guests, my fellow faculty, and the families and friends of the graduating class. It is a privilege to welcome you to our commencement. My name is Austin Parrish. I have the privilege of serving as a Chancellor's Professor and Dean of the University of California Irvine School of Law. And this afternoon, we will bestow the Juris Doctor degree or the Master of Laws degree on 198 extraordinary graduating students. Yeah. This is the class of 2024. This is the 15th year since our founding, and this marks the 13th commencement of our great law school. It promises to be an inspiring ceremony. After opening remarks from Chancellor Howard Gilman, we will hear from 2 student speakers and then congratulatory remarks from our faculty speaker, Professor Bob Solomon. Finally, we'll have the privilege of the Honorable Sunshine S. Sykes joining us, and she'll give us the commencement keynote address. To begin, however, I have some thank yous to make. This is a big day, not only for you and for our graduates, but also for your family and for your loved ones. All of us on stage would love to take full credit for all that this great class has accomplished, But the truth is, we are relative latecomers, and of the accomplishments we celebrate today of this graduating class are not those of our graduates alone. Behind each and every one of our graduates is a story of family and friends, and our graduates' real education was earned long before they arrived at the law school. It's appropriate then to pause to recognize all the family, friends, and loved ones for their support of our students during their time in law school. You, our graduates, wouldn't have made it so far without them. And because this weekend is Mother's Day, I thought it's also an appropriate time to thank our families and friends and loved ones. So could the graduates please join me in a round of applause for your friends and families. The law school experience is also an experience for our students as a product of our staff and our faculty and our alumni. Our remarkable law school couldn't succeed without dedicated staff. They're the engine that drives this school, sometimes on the front lines, but often quietly behind the scenes, and they're an extraordinary group. The same is true for my stellar faculty colleagues on stage. At UCI, we are fortunate to have some of the finest legal minds and lawyers in the country. These outstanding teachers, scholars, and mentors have challenged this graduating class and cheered you on these past 3 years. And finally, when today's ceremony ends, graduates, you'll be concluding one stage of your relationship with the law school, but you'll be beginning another important one as we welcome you to the ranks of alumni. Indeed, we're very pleased to have Eric Fangchang, our Law Alumni Association president, a graduate of the class of 2017, representing our alumni community and serving as this year's Mace Marshal. Please join me in a round of applause thanking the staff, the faculty, and our alumni of this great school. Lastly, as we begin, the end of this semester marks the retirement of one of our extraordinary colleagues, Professor Joe Demento. Professor Demento, sure. Professor Demento has served the University of California, Irvine for 50 years and the law school since its founding. He has left an indelible mark on our graduates and our community. We don't have time in this ceremony to appropriately celebrate his achievements. I know you've already applauded, but can you join me again with a round of applause for Professor Joe Demento and congratulate him. One of our great strengths as a law school is that we are not alone. We are deeply embedded and a core part of one of the world's leading research institutions and one of the nation's great public universities. Howard Gilman became the 6th Chancellor of the University of California, Irvine in September 2014. He is an award-winning scholar and teacher with expertise in the American Constitution and the Supreme Court, and holds faculty appointments in the School of Law, the Department of Political Science, the Department of History, and the Department of Criminology, Law, and Society. Under Chancellor Gilman's leadership, UCI has consistently ranked in the top 10 of all public universities in the nation. He has furthered the university's national leadership in sustainability, advanced student success, and promoted social mobility. A native of Southern California, Chancellor Gilman grew up in North Hollywood. Like so many of our graduates today, he too was a first-generation college student. Please join me in welcoming Chancellor Howard Gilman.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean Parrish. Thank you all. First, I just want to add my voice to the chorus of people who are saying to all of you who are graduating today, congratulations, what an extraordinary accomplishment, and add my voice to all of the people around here who love you and say to them, congratulations as well. To all the moms, I will say this may be the best Mother's Day present you will ever see. Maybe you'll get brunch too, but I'm saying this is better than the brunch. But graduates, what a tremendous day. It's the culmination of years of dreaming and planning, so many long days and late nights, sacrifices, setbacks that were pushed through, a long journey, a very high mountaintop, and here you are. Take a moment to breathe, a sigh of relief, and appreciate the magnitude of your accomplishment. Now, a few minutes from now, I will confer upon you the degrees for which the degrees that you have earned. And because you are entering the profession as graduates of this amazing and distinctive law school, we know you will be part of a generation that protects or restores the rule of law against authoritarianism or backward-looking conceptions of laws, purposes, and values. So you have, at this moment in our history, an incredibly important role to play. And we have confidence in the future because we have confidence in you. And so congratulations, we are very proud of you, and we wish you all the very best. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you, Chancellor Gilman. Next, we'll hear from two students from our graduate degree programs. Yuri Zinchenko, a member of our Global LLM degree program, is our first student speaker. Dr. Zinchenko earned his law degree with honors from Yaroslav Mudry National Law Academy of Ukraine in 2004 and his PhD in law from the same institution in 2015. A member of the Ukrainian National Bar Association, Dr. Zinchenko's experience includes practicing law at a law firm. He has worked at the National Bank of Ukraine and has worked for a pharmaceutical company too. He hopes that his deeper understanding of the American legal system may open opportunities to facilitate efforts between the United States and Ukraine to rebuild his home country's infrastructure, economy, and trade. Please join me in warmly welcoming Yuri Zinchenko.
Thank you, Dean Parrish. Good afternoon, graduates, faculty and staff, distinguished guests, and proud family. Today, we celebrate a remarkable achievement of a result of hard work and dedication in the law school. Aristotle once said that the roots of education is bitter, but the fruit is sweet. During this academic year, I spent a lot of time with impressive lawyers from 11 countries who practice diverse areas of law like criminal defense, IP law, business, of 1, 2, or even 3 children. And I must mention that graduates of LLM class of 2024 are very different, but with one thing in common. They're very intelligent and talented personalities. And being part of this legal community was a great privilege and honor. The accomplishment of opportunity for foreign students to acquire a distinctive educational experience at UCI Law each year is attributed to the diligent work of the global programs team, Kari and Mary, Grace and Miriam, and we want to thank you for your support, your advice, and your patience. And I also want to express gratitude to our teachers and mentors. A team of exceptional and impressive professors is what truly makes this alma mater a unique place. We deeply appreciate the knowledge and experience that you shared with us, and at the same time, we want to thank you for your fabulous lectures, engaging conversations, and making class sessions incredibly interesting. And for many of us who is graduating today, I believe that this success wouldn't have been possible without support of our loved ones and family. And I sincerely thank everyone who supported us in this difficult path, who gave us wins when we were falling, and inspired us to move forward and become wiser than we were yesterday. As we continue our professional path, we will face numerous challenges and crossroads. Sometimes life, like the law, is not always fair, but I believe that we can strive to make it fairer. And therefore, I wish to everyone who is graduating today wisdom in making future legal decisions, as well as new victories and new achievements. And at the end of my remarks, I want to remember that the most valuable possession that we have is time. and it's a resource that even lawyers cannot refill or reimburse. So while pursuing in your future legal careers, I hope that you will find a way to invest your time in other things that also truly matter. Despite any circumstances, always believe in yourselves and follow the goal. Congratulations to the class of 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Yuri. Next, pleased to welcome Teddy Malone, who is a member of our graduate tax program. Teddy grew up in Rochester, New York, where he was the younger of two brothers. He attended undergraduate at Boston College. We've got a fan out there. He stumbled into tax law when he took Professor Joshua Blank's federal income tax class. After completing his JD in December, he is graduating today also with a master's in taxation. Teddy will return to New York this month, where he plans to sit for the July bar exam and begin his career at a tax-focused law firm. Please join me in welcoming Teddy Malone.
Friends, family, colleagues, professors, Dean Parrish, Chancellor Gilman, distinguished guests, it is an honor to speak before you all today. Before I begin, a note of thanks. Thanks to all the parents and all the professors who supported me and my fellow classmates through law school to this day. In addition, thank you to Natasha Fastabend and Professor Joshua Blank and all the other tax professors that establish this graduate tax program here at UCI Law. Let's give them all a round of applause. Our tax system binds us in a union. It binds us as neighbors. And as neighbors, we owe each other certain obligations, certain duties. The first that comes to mind is the duty of preservation, that we might observe the good that our neighbors are engaged with, and we might seek to preserve it, to protect it, to carry it forward. The second is the duty of provision, that the resources our tax system collects might be allocated to the ailing members of our society, that these resources might be used to heal and to restore our body politic. And the third, if I can get beyond tax just for a moment, which ask my classmates, this is a rare occurrence, is it's an image. It's the image of the porch. I think we as Americans, we've retreated from our front porch and from our neighbors. And it's time again that we advance to the front porch to see our neighbors, to see their comings and goings, and to offer them words of kindness, words of encouragement, and words of peace. These words of unity. Words of unity. That's all I have to share with you today. Thank you, and may God bless this joyful time of celebration.
Thank you, Teddy. Each year, the students select a faculty member to speak for the graduating class. This year, that honor goes to Distinguished Clinical Professor of Law Emeritus, Professor Bob Solomon. Graduate of Rutgers University and George Washington University Law School, Professor Solomon began his career as a legal services attorney with the Bucks County Legal Aid Society in Langhorne, Pennsylvania. After serving as the executive director of the Center for Legal Rights in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, and the New Haven Legal Assistance Association in New Haven, Connecticut, Professor Solomon entered the Legal Academy in 1985, where he joined Yale Law School. Shortly after UCI Law opened its doors, Professor Solomon joined our faculty. Focused on civil litigation and community development, Professor Solomon has served as the co-director of the school's Community and Economic Development Clinic, as well as co-chair of the UCI Center for the Study of Cannabis. Professor Solomon retired last year and took emeritus status, but we've been so fortunate that he's remained deeply connected with the school. It's no surprise that Professor Solomon is a student favorite, as reflected in today's selection. Please join me in welcoming Professor Bob Solomon.
So the two students didn't storm out in protest, right, as I was about to speak. Chancellor Gilliman, Dean Parrish, Judge Sykes, family and friends, extraordinary class of 2024. Thank you for inviting me to speak, to address you today. I am truly honored. I have been at UCI for 13 years, and I really believed from the first moment I got here that I had won the job lottery. I wish the same for you. I will confess that for many years I've been hoping to win Best Dressed, but this seems to be much better. My only regret with this class is that I have not had the opportunity to get to meet each and every one of you. And so in order to remedy that, I went back to read your personal statements. And there's some interesting stuff there. Took you a minute to get that one. Here's what I really learned about you this year. Professor Weinstein and I got to spend 3 hours a week with many of you, talking about difficult issues with humor and reflection, discussing topics that are not easy to talk about. At a time when too many people are yelling slogans, you showed us you are willing to listen to others and treat conversations with the seriousness they deserve. That's a rare quality. Those discussions were made so much better because of the diversity of our backgrounds. I hope you learned something from us, but I really mean it when I say I know we learned a lot from you. I've attended commencements every year for the past 38 years, and some years 2 or 3. I actually had 3 high school commencements in this auditorium. I did miss one of ours a couple of years ago because it conflicted with my daughter's graduation in New York at NYU. Her commencement speaker was Taylor Swift, but it was before she started going to football games, so no one really knew who she was. Several commencement speakers quoted Martin Luther King's statement that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. We know from Dr. King's life that this was not meant to be a passive event, that we should wait for justice to occur. He did everything in his power to put his shoulder to the arc to make sure it continued to bend in the right direction and to make it bend a little sharper. Dr. King spoke of Civil Disobedience by Henry David Thoreau in college, how he read it in college, and how he became convinced that non-cooperation with evil was as much a moral obligation as cooperation with good. We've created a myth that Dr. King was universally popular in his time, but his fight was always uphill and always against the wind. He had constant harassment from the government and entrenched racism. He was jailed 29 times. Thoreau predicted this, writing that those who take moral stands will not always be comfortable and will often be considered enemies of the state. Throughout our history, lawyers have taken up the moral imperative to fight in the courts, the legislatures, and other fora on behalf of clients, often at a personal cost. That is the opportunity our chosen profession offers. Thurgood Marshall, in my opinion, the greatest lawyer in our history, was driven by his anger and disgust with racism. When Ruth Bader could not get a job fighting for equal protection, she argued her cases as a pro bono lawyer for the American Civil Liberties Union. Brian Stevenson was forced to humble himself to the extent that he had to strip naked just to meet a client on death row who didn't even want to meet him, yet he did so. We cannot all be Thurgood Marshall, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, or Brian Stevenson, but we can all be disgusted with racists, do pro bono work, and suppress our ego for the benefit of our clients. Not can we must. I mentioned 3 giants of our profession, but there are thousands of legal services attorneys, government attorneys, public defenders, private practitioners, partners and associates in law firms who provide critical legal services as a daily routine. You do not need to engage in constitutional litigation to do good, nor do you need to go far to see models. Judge Sykes is somewhere? it's an honor to be on the platform with Judge Sykes, not just because of your current status, but because everything you've done to get to the point, and how you represented low-income people and people who otherwise would not have legal services. I am sure no one told you this was a great path to be a district judge. You did it because you cared about your community. I could add to the accomplishments of the people sitting behind me, but I have 7 minutes and not 77 minutes, and that's what it would take. And I may have a little more than 7 minutes. You have acquired tools that most people do not have. Regardless of where you work, you will have the opportunity to provide pro bono legal services to underrepresented people. Do not underestimate how much this affects people's lives. You can do great good. We often hear that no one on their deathbed ever said they wish they spent more time at the office, and I think that's true. I think that family and friends are more important, but I also believe that there are too many people who in the end said they wish they had spent their time at a different office. Do not fall into that trap, because it is a trap. You can always find something that is important to you and meaningful. We are living in a society that prizes clicks and dollars more than depth and quality. But I can assure you that when you go home at night, you will get more satisfaction from earning someone's respect than from earning their dollars. We are lucky that our profession gives us the opportunity to make choices and choose sides. I am in awe of the work you have already done in your pro bono work and in our clinics. It really is the envy of the country, the quantity and quality of work you have provided. My own experience working with you has convinced me that any adversary who takes a group of UCI law students for granted does so at their own risk. They will lose in the end, and they have, and you know that. Your work on behalf of people who would otherwise not have lawyers is a model for the best our profession can offer, and your clients love you for what they have done, what you have done, and what they have done. I know many of you believe you are living in the worst of times. I don't believe that. In my lifetime, change has included ending legal segregation, ending laws prohibiting interracial marriage, legalizing same-sex marriage, protecting the right to engage in private consensual activity, providing greater protection of freedom of speech, prohibiting restrictive covenants, applying the Bill of Rights to the states, expanding equal protection, expanding the rights of criminal defendants, protecting the right to purchase and use contraceptives, and on and on and on. Not to mention statutes protecting workers, victims of domestic violence, renters, purchasers of housing, and the environment. Many of these accomplishments were considered impossible at the time. Calling something impossible is really a terrific reason for not trying or for giving up. But the lawyers involved kept trying. Here's the thing. None of these cases was decided by default. Each of these cases was vigorously contested, and the lawyers who fought to expand rights were paid more, probably a lot more than the lawyers who were fought to contract rights were paid a lot more than lawyers who fought to expand rights. But those lawyers are on the wrong side of history, and history has not treated them well. Lawyers make choices. I do not mean to minimize the issues you will face, your challenges. You will face issues concerning reproductive rights, artificial intelligence, intellectual property, animal rights, not to mention things we haven't really thought about like space law. When I was in 5th grade, we had a thing called the Weekly Reader, and they told us all kinds of things that would happen, like flying cars and phones with pictures and amazing stuff. No one foresaw the internet. Stuff happens, and things that will happen in your lifetime we cannot yet foresee. Some of you know my favorite quote is over 700 years old from Dante, who wrote, "The hottest places in hell are reserved for those who in time of great moral crisis maintain their neutrality." It is always a time of great moral crisis. In 1776, Tom Paine wrote, "These are the times that try men's soul." 100 years later, Harriet Tubman said, "Slavery is the next thing to hell." And after another 100 years, Harvey Milk said, "I have tasted freedom. I will not give up that which I have tasted." A mere 30 years ago, my own client, Arthur Papini, who used a wheelchair, said to me, "Technology allowed me to leave the home and re-enter the workplace. I am not going back." These are the people who teach us. and we get to represent them. You are entering the profession at a time when basic rights are under attack. The trial judge in Loving versus Virginia wrote in 1964, not 1864, that God did not intend the races to mix. Such people still exist. I cannot predict much, but I can safely predict that wherever you are working, there will come a time when you see injustice and that you will need to make a decision. Where will you stand and who will stand with you? I have a friend who wrote that he is depressed by current events and he is giving up and moving to Florida. I really don't know how moving to Florida solves anything, but I told him I remain optimistic. Why? I said maybe it was because I get to work with a wonderful group of students who are smart, compassionate, empathetic, and more sophisticated than we were. My friend then said, so are your students optimistic about the future? Yeah, a little hesitation. Well, they're a little nervous. I wouldn't necessarily say they're uniformly optimistic. They have too much student debt. They're worried about passing the bar in the job market. They see a world in conflict. They've lived through a pandemic, and they worry about the world they're inheriting. My friend asked how that could possibly make me optimistic. I said it was because you all care deeply about each other and the rest of the world, because you are not just smart but skillful, because when we hear the voice of Martin Luther King asking who will help push the moral arc towards justice, you will answer. Because when people who are under attack because of their race or gender or nationality or national origin or age, or because in some other way they are different, and they ask who will speak for me, I believe you will. You will stand up, and when you look around, you will see your classmates with you, and when you do that, you may not be comfortable, but I am confident you will choose to be on the right side of history. And every once in a while, if you keep trying, you will accomplish what other people said was impossible. When too many people are screaming slogans and not listening to others, you will be the serious people, the ones willing to listen, the ones who understand the value of diversity, the ones who understand the need to balance the rule of law with justice and equity. That's the most we can ask for from any generation. You are the ones that make me optimistic. One last quote. The great 20th century philosopher Yogi Berra said, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. Over my 50 years of practicing law, I have found that to be excellent advice. Congratulations. Break a leg on the bar exam. We care about your futures and your exploits, so keep in touch. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob, for those inspiring remarks. Did anybody see the Ohio State University commencement? There was a rumor going around that Professor Solomon was going to lead you in a Four Non-Blonde song, so I was just very pleased that you did. Okay. I'm now privileged to introduce Sunshine Sykes, Judge of the United States District Court for the Central District of California, to deliver our keynote commencement address. Judge Sykes is a graduate of Stanford University and its law school. She began her legal career on the Navajo Reservation as a law clerk, eventually became the staff attorney for the California Indian Legal Services, and then deputy county counsel in Riverside County. She was the first Native American judge appointed to the Riverside Superior Court in 2013, and then in 2022, after being nominated by President Biden, Judge Sykes was confirmed by the United States Senate to serve on the United States District Court for the Central District of California. She is a member of the Navajo Nation, the first Native American Article III judge in California, the first Article III judge from the Navajo Nation, and the fifth Native American Article III judge actively serving in the United States. Please join me in an extremely warm welcome to this year's distinguished commencement speaker, the Honorable Sunshine Sykes.
Yate, she'e Sunshine Sykes, yanache, mai deshkis ni nishle, bilagana I bashachin, bilagana I dashanale. Hello, graduates, faculty, administrators, friends, and family. My name is Sunshine Sykes, and I am a citizen of the Navajo Nation of the Coyote Pass Clan and the Red Running Into Water Clan. I am from Tuba City, Arizona, which is called the place of many streams. I am a United States District Court judge for the Central District of California, and I sit in Riverside, not too far from here. I'm also a mother of 4 lovely daughters, one of which is a current undergrad here at UCI, so zot, zot, zot. And she was embarrassed that I was going to do that, by the way. But I did it anyways. So I want to begin by thanking Chancellor Gilman, Dean Parrish, the staff of the law school, the professors, and you, the graduates of the University of California, Irvine School of Law, for inviting me to be part of your special day. To the graduates, congratulations to each one of you. You have made it to the end of your law school experience. I know that between long nights at the library, difficult readings, busy class schedules, not to mention the journals, clinics, externships, and other activities many of you have been involved in, it has been a long and challenging 3 years. But again, you all made it, and today is your day to celebrate your accomplishments and your day to officially enter the legal profession. Well, after you pass the bar, of course, which you all will. But again, you all made it. As each of you embarks on this next chapter, I want to tell you a little bit about my own journey, about where I come from and how I came to be where I am today. Just 2 generations ago, it was not expected for a Native person to be a judge at all, let alone a federal judge. My grandparents, like many Native people, were forced from their homes on the Navajo reservation and sent to boarding schools to learn how to farm, clean, fix simple machines, and take care of other people's children. Sheche, my maternal grandfather, tells the story of how he was stolen from his home on the Navajo reservation and forced to attend boarding school. In fact, both Sheche and Shamasana, my maternal grandmother, attended Sherman Indian School, which is ironically just a few miles away from the courthouse where I now sit in Riverside. When I was young, Sheche would tell the story of hiding under an old sewing machine when the federal agents came for him and his brothers. He had escaped being found on several prior occasions, but this time he accidentally hit the pedal and was found. Taken from his home, forced to cut his hair, forced to not speak his language, forced to march to and from class, and forced to endure unspeakable trauma. However, despite these traumas, I have been taught that there is hope and there is beauty all around us. There is strength and resilience born from those experiences and those sacrifices. I would not be here today without the sacrifices of so many that came before me. And I'm sure you all would not be here today without those sacrifices as well. Today, I stand before you as a judge appointed by the President and confirmed by the United States Senate. In just 2 generations, so much has changed, and some might say it was miraculous. However, I don't think it was a miracle. I think it was the product of people's strength, effort, and desire for change. People often ask me if I always knew I wanted to be a judge. What may be surprising to some of you is that I did. I had always wanted to be a judge. As a Navajo girl growing up in Gallup, New Mexico, I saw injustice all around me. I saw how Gallup, a border town to the reservation, was plagued by alcoholism, poverty, and racism. I saw how people treated me differently depending upon whether I was with my Navajo mother in Gallup or with my non-Indian father in big cities like New York or LA. I saw and felt that when my father spoke, he was seen, he was heard, he was respected, and in turn, so was I. Whereas when my mother spoke, she was oftentimes not seen, not heard, and often dismissed, and in turn, I was invisible. It was these injustices that drew me to the law. It was these injustices that drove me to make a difference, want to make a difference in the world and the life of myself and in that of my family and my community. So I decided to dedicate myself to schooling, to do the best that I could to get good grades. Fortunately, I was able to work hard and attend Stanford University and then Stanford Law School. During my career, I had the privilege to give back to my community by working at DNA Legal Services in Tuba City, the town in which I was born and my family still resides, and at California Indian Legal Services before, during, and after law school. As a young lawyer, I wanted to help Native families and children, so I concentrated on the Indian Child Welfare Act and developed an expertise which I was then able to share with members of my own legal community in Riverside and across the state. I was able to take all of these personal and professional experiences with me to the state court bench upon my appointment by Governor Brown in 2013, and now to the federal bench since my appointment in 2022 by President Biden. Through these experiences, I have always tried and continue to try to stay grounded and remember who I am and where I come from. This can sometimes be daunting, being so far away from my family and my homeland, like many of us often are. Oftentimes, we have to leave our homes and exist in a world so very fast-paced and so very different from the world we may be used to. That is why it is important, no matter how far afield you may go or how alone you may feel, that you stay grounded and never forget who you are, where you come from, and why you embarked on this journey. Remember, there is strength in your experiences and the experiences of all those who have come before you. In light of this, I want to also remind you all to give back and be grateful. None of you got here on your own, whether it be the strength of your ancestors that live within you, or the strength of your families, friends, professors, mentors that encouraged you and lifted you up along the way. Those people stood beside you and supported you on this journey. Now that you are ready to embark on your career, I ask that each of you reach back and pull someone else up. Be a mentor, devote time to pro bono work, visit an elementary school career day, coach a mock trial team. There are so many ways to give back, and I encourage you all to do so. Life will definitely get busy. You will think you have no time, but you do. Someone made time for you. It is necessary and vital that each of us in the legal profession give back and give a part of ourselves for the greater good. I want to leave you with the story of the power of a dream. As a young girl living with my mother, I, like many Native youth of my time, had little to no role models in the justice system. I knew no attorneys, let alone judges, and certainly not anyone who looked like me. My first introduction to the law was watching reruns of Perry Mason with my mother. For those of you who do not know Perry Mason, you can ask your parents, your professors. It's an old lawyer show. I think there's a Perry Mason 2.0 on HBO, so you may be aware of that. But I would watch that show and dream of one day being a lawyer, and yes, being a judge. I tell you this story from my past so that I can share with you the impact of a dream, of a vision. I know each of you have had your own dream and vision that you have achieved today. But I implore you all to not let your dream end here. There is so much work to be done and change to be made. Set your sights and visions on something bigger, something grander, and marshal all your will and energy behind that vision. When I look out at all of you, I see unbridled potential. And I know if you aim that potential towards your goals, success will embrace you. You each have always had the ability to create change, and now you have the tools to do so. Use them wisely. The road you are about to embark on is not an easy one. At times, being a lawyer can be tiring, stressful, and quite challenging. In light of this, I leave you with these last words of advice. First, always strive to show up every day as your best self. Show up for your family, show up for your community, but most importantly, show up for yourselves. It will not always be clear or easy, but I promise you that all your efforts will be rewarded in time and will not go unnoticed. Second, remember you are not alone on this road. Look around you, to your right, to your left, up in the stands, up here on the stage. The energy that I felt when you were walking in from your family, from your friends, from yourselves, from your professors, it was amazing. I could feel it like in my heart. So you have so many people here who are with you, who support you, who are behind you. Lastly, as you walk on this road into your future, let your dream guide you and your potential carry you. And do not forget to give yourself grace along the way. You should all be so proud of yourselves. I know all those who love and support you are proud of you, and I am proud of all that you have accomplished, and I cannot wait to see what is yet to come from each and every one of you. Thank you again to all of you graduates here today, and to the University of California, Irvine School of Law for inviting me to speak at this wonderful occasion. Ahiehe. Thank you. Congratulations to the class of 2024.
Thank you for Judge Sykes for the inspiring remarks and the great advice. We've been fortunate in the last 13 years to have some tremendous graduation speakers. It's great that the federal judiciary comes down and supports us. Can we have another round of applause for Judge Sykes? Now the moment that we've been waiting for. Let us now recognize each of our graduates individually. We'll begin with our graduate degree program students from both our graduate tax and our global LLM programs, and then with our JD students. Often we tell you to wait and give your applause once everybody arrives, and that's not the case on this. We want to hear lots of noise for each of our graduates as they cross the stage. Will the candidates for the degree of our global LLM program please rise and remain standing? Chancellor Gilman, we are fortunate each year to have truly extraordinary lawyers from around the world join us here in Irvine to study for a year. Our global connections are one of our greatest strengths. We have learned with them and from them. We are proud that this group of standing students will go on to serve as the international face of the University of California, Irvine School of Law as we continue to expand our global connections and reach. Chancellor Gilman, I present to you the Master of Laws class of 2024 for our global LLM program.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Law for which you have been presented. Congratulations, you did it. Please be seated.
We will now recognize each degree recipient individually. I'll ask each member of the class to come forward as Assistant Dean Hornsby calls your name. I will then have the pleasure of congratulating you.
I present the class of 2024 Masters of Law students for the international program. Hana Cho. Gulkap Chilnosh. Chihiro Hirono. Ton Yuan Shu. Song Yong Chong. Jae-woo Jong. Kim Gun-soo. Jem Young Kim. Chin Hoon Kim. Lee Ki-hook. Song Lim Lee. Maya Magai. Kanish Matayev. Manuela Munoz Amaja. Ni Fuang Ang. Shusheta Shaha. Sahar Separom. Bhavninder Singh. Song Chien. Yuto Tsunada. Saide Tapotapoi. Hirokazu Tanaka. Yongchi. Ju Xiaosha. Yuri Zinchenko. The International Class of 2024 Masters of Law students.
Will the candidates for the degree of Masters of Laws from the Graduate Tax Program please rise and remain standing? Chancellor Gilman, we have one of the finest graduate tax programs in the nation, and this is another exceptional class. We are proud that this group is well prepared for careers as tax attorneys, judges, tax administrators, and policy advocates. Chancellor Gilman, I present to you the Master of Laws Class of 2024 from the Graduate Tax Program.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Laws for which you have been presented. Congratulations, you did it. Good job.
We will now recognize each degree recipient individually. I'll ask each member of the class to come forward as Executive Director Natasha Fassbend calls your name. I will then have the pleasure of congratulating you individually.
I will now present the Graduate Tax Program, Class of 2024. Samuel Weinstein Astorga. Andreana Calasuntis. Matthew Ketchum. Cheyenne Christy Kim. Sagu Kim. Andrew Sutton. Teddy Malone. This concludes the presentation of the degrees of Master of Laws from the School of Law.
I would like to ask the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor to rise and remain standing. Chancellor Gilman, I present to you the JD Class of 2024. Each of them have completed the requirements prescribed by the American Bar Association, the University of California, and the law school. I can say without hesitation that this class will be excellent lawyers. While here at UCI Law, in addition to rigorous court work, they have participated in countless student organizations, the Moot Court Program, Law Review, student government, and so much more. Additionally, this class, the class of 2024, has been deeply committed to making a difference, participating in almost 13,000 hours of pro bono work over the past 3 years and thousands of hours helping those most in need. Nearly 1/3 of this class will graduate with pro bono honors or high honors, and many students have made a significant difference with impacting our research mission, working hand in hand with faculty in our clinics, in our centers, in our institutes and programs. Like the LM students that have just been celebrated, our JD students have been wonderful partners in creating a vibrant law school culture. We pride ourselves on graduating highly skilled, thoughtful, creative, ethical lawyers who will go on to be leaders. The class of 2024 represents the very best of what legal education has to offer. Chancellor Gilman, I present to you the amazing class of 2024.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I confer upon you the degree of Juris Doctor for which you have been presented. Congratulations, you just now graduated law school.
Phew. Okay, we'll now recognize each graduate individually. I'll ask each member of the class of 2024 to come forward as your name is called by Assistant Dean Kyle Jones. I'll then have the pleasure of congratulating each of you individually.
Grace Carolyn Palsick. Yikun Angela Dwan. Chaz Estelle. Ali Habib Jamal. Sawyer Labby. Shan Nguyen. Marisa Scalzo. Candice Guak. Jillian Link. Justin Stahlberg. Leon Hay. Samir Khan. Marquise Christopher Steptoe. Shirley Saoli Lee. Esther Jun. Veronica Ann Van Heel. Jean Sella. Teddy Malone. Kanomi Jones. Celine Layla Ruaz. Emily Nicole Lasco. Anthony Matthew Pimentel. Ethan Itzhaki. Kelsey Sutton. Shannon Elizabeth Egan. Emily Jean Lavelle. Madeline Sickle. Isabella Coy. Rebecca France. EJ Gonzalez. TJ Mertikis. True Shields Lay. Lucrece Borrego. Millie Jasmine Gonzalez. Crescencia McDonald Mano. Alexandra Super. Lexi Sinnott. Karen Carton. Bryant Joaquim Jackson Green. Andrea Yolanda Cervantes. Josh Trong Nguyen. Jeffrey Chang. Kangdi Chang. Lance Seeger. Alex Maeda. Jesse Padua. Claire Lunette Katz. Max Giovanni Singh. Christina Elaine Carter. Michaela Klass. Will Matthews. Seth McCormick. Clara Bourget. Johanna Crawford. Gabby Toya Jacqueline Elias. Eric Martin Vandergoes. Isabella Guerrero. Alicia Lynn Burrell. Jared Geen. Allison Thompson. Haley Rose Trudell. Kate Ann Peters. Emily Noel Risden. Tara Leuenberger. Alex Kerr. Disbeth Fabian. Samantha Ahn. Haley Ashley Tull. Miriam Gaponsian. Karen Kirolos. Jacob Benjamin Britton. Jacob Greenstein. Jake Hermanson. Robert Lee Hardegree IV. Victor Giovanni Avila Almada. Noah Minho Kim. Ricky Corredor. Nathan Wong. Maximilian Marvilla. Juan Miguel Torres. David Kim. Kenny Joseph Sanchez. Jie Min Huang Cho. Unjun Esther Ge. John Polos. Megan Bilbao. Maria Fotiadis. Madison Marshall. Jacob Devashray Whitwer. Nicholas Robert Gigliotti. Matt On. Brandon Francisco. Annie Wong. Virginia Kennedy. Elijah Rosen. Nicholas Thiele. Spencer Lee Levitt. Marcela Liseth Hernandez. Joanna Yam. Mackie O'Brien. Brianna Catherine O'Leary. Selai Powell Fong. Tristan Campbell. Abby Lee. Willie Duhart. Hannah Haynes. Kieran Sakon. Jessica Patricia Lauer. Shadi Alavi Mogadam. Leah Raiden Muhammadi. Jim Henshaw. Gabriel Lazo. Eric Nguyen. Jonathan Caceres. Talha Muhammad. Nasser Khatib. Donald Burton Swartz, Jr. James Sang. Samuel Wynn. Zachary David Leonard. Tianyi Christopher Lee. Winnie Zhu. Jiahui Brittany Lee. Joyce Tianxing Chang. Jessica Chin. Victoria Chinjia Jin. Anastasia Sun. Ambria Chanel Dean. Benjamin Hung. Joe Katai. Anthony Birong. Michael Vine. Ryan Gusimi. Omar Rizk. Alfred Huang. J.H. Choi. Nick Guo. Rubia Umjad. Somi Boone Fotawat. Triana Henderson. Adrian An Thutran Fong. Ulisa Sohaidi. Addie Brown. Adriana Pereira. Matthew Gilbert Sigala. Emma Steiner. Mark J. Green. Madeline DeLuca. Devin Tice. Brenda Rosas. Fernando Acevedo. Lauren Peterkin. Isaiah Keyshawn Crosby. Elise Osafo. Jelani Shelton. Aaliyah Rebecca Thomas. Chase Kingua Hamilton. This concludes the presentation of the degrees of Juris Doctor from the School of Law. Dean Parrish will now close the ceremony.
Let's do one more big round of applause for the class of 2024. Before we end this afternoon's ceremony, I want to thank the many people who worked so hard to plan this graduation. There are too many to name individually, but I especially want to thank the dozens of members of our staff who worked for months behind the scenes, our students' assistants, Sarahi Lopez, Jumada Sandig, and a special thanks to Leslie Dodds for her efforts to making this event so special. One of the great privileges of being dean is to be able to close the graduation ceremony, and it's a tradition for the dean to be able to end with some closing remarks and a charge. The challenge today is that we've had so many great speakers who have given the graduating class great advice or reflected on shared experiences, and by this point, all the great punchlines have been stolen, and if we're honest, I don't think anybody really wants to hear from a dean. So I'd like to use my time very briefly to speak to the rest of the audience, to the family, to the friends, to the loved ones of the graduates. You know that the graduates assembled here are accomplished in many ways before they arrived here at Irvine. So accomplished, in fact, that you might mistakenly incline to take their achievements for granted as something you've become accustomed to over a long period of time. I want to emphasize that their success and all that they've achieved attaining either the JD or the LM degree is a big deal. I can't emphasize how much respect and admiration the faculty and I have for them. During the time they spent here at the University of California, Irvine, your loved ones worked incredibly hard. They spent thousands of hours reading and writing and studying and learning. But they did much more than that. The law school is a better place, the law school is a better school, and our local communities are stronger because of them. Perhaps from today's ceremony, from the work done with our faculty and our clinics and our centers, our institutes, our pro bono programs, through our student organizations, our journals, and our other programs, you have an ever so small glimpse of how far-ranging their interests have been and how far-ranging their contributions have been. And through these activities and many others, they have trained not only for the beginning of distinguished careers or returning to countries from around the world to continue already illustrious careers, but are graduating having left their marks on our communities, on our nation, and our law school. Our law school is a relatively new school. I mentioned it began just 15 years ago, and our school was founded with the bold but distinct mission to graduate extraordinary, ethical, and accomplished professionals, prepared to practice in an ever complicated world in a way that would give back and commit to public service. Our alumni are extraordinary, but I can say without hesitance, and Eric, my apologies to our Mace Marshal, the class of 2017, this LLM and JD class is one of the very best we have ever graduated. Please join me in another round of applause for this amazing class. To the graduates, I have to the profession the same energy, the creativity, the optimism, and the spirit that you brought to the school. You have scored just what an exceptional community we have here. Second, please stay in touch. Graduation shouldn't mark the end of your relationship with the law school, but really the beginning. Many of our alumni make a pilgrimage back to the courtyard each year to support the next generation of graduates. Of all the schools on the UCI campus, our alumni are among the most engaged, the most committed to mentoring, the most committed to making sure that the next generation of law students succeed. Please continue that grand tradition. The future of this great law school depends on our alumni, and I hope you can continue to display that anteater pride no matter where you go. I look forward to hearing all of your successes and all your future accomplishments. And I mean that. When something great happens in your life, a promotion, a big win, a significant achievement, please reach out and let us share in your success. At the very least, I have an Instagram account to fill. Lastly, and most importantly, thank you so much. You've been a tremendous class. You have represented us so well. I will end with a quote from a famous former university president who said, "Make no small plans. They are too difficult to achieve and unworthy of your ability." That is certainly true for your talents. Dream big. Among law students, you're rock stars. Don't ever forget that. And I speak for all the faculty and staff when I say we are so proud of all you've done, and I know we're going to be proud of all that you're going to do. Okay, last year, Chief Judge Gutierrez, who gave the keynote remarks, suggested that it would be unfair if we didn't do a selfie before we ended the ceremony, and Judge Sykes has agreed to do one with me today. The goal is to have you in the background. Judge Sykes, can you join me at the podium? Counselor Gilman, you want to join? I've got to get you in the middle because I can only do right hand. You guys got it? Yes, we want some Zots in the background. Let's get them in. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Congratulations to the class of 2024. We are going to follow your lives and your careers with interest and affection. Thank you so much for all you've done. We now come to the conclusion of our program. Before we close, I want to again extend a special thanks to Chancellor Gilman, Yuri Zinchenko, Teddy Malone, Professor Solomon, and Judge Sykes, as well as to Dean Hornsby, Executive Director Fastaben, and Dean Jones for participating in today's ceremony. I will ask that the audience remain seated until the faculty and the graduate recessional lines have exited. Afterwards, please join us for a recession just outside the Bren to celebrate our newest alumni. This concludes the 13th ceremony. Congratulations again to the amazing class of 2024.